My name is Yvonne Chu. I'm with the Multicultural Health Brokers Co-op. I think our organization is really pleased to be involved in this initiative because at first glance, we're a group of community workers who are from the very community we serve. So we serve 27 different immigrant refugee communities. And I'm very sad to say, since the boom and the bust, many of our families in our communities are pretty stuck in chronic poverty. Why we're excited in this project is because we're able to introduce a very tiny, forgotten community, the Bhutanese community, and create relationship between them and others who really probably care about improving their lives here in Canada.
Bhutan is a tiny Himalayan kingdom situated between China and India. In the early 90s, more than 100,000 people of Nepalese ethnicity fled to refugee camps in eastern Nepal. They were being victimized by ethnic cleansing policy of one nation, one people by the royal government of Bhutan, and lived in a harsh living condition in the camps for more than 2 decades, and later resettled in Canada and elsewhere through UNHCR resettlement process. Between 2009 to 2015, fortunately, 350 refugees were able to make Edmonton their home. Bhutanese people here in Edmonton are very hardworking. They have a strong sense of cultural heritage, believe in togetherness, spiritual and social cohesion. They are fit for the physical demands of jobs with transferable skills such as farming, construction work, landscaping, hospitality, and customer service. They are very positive and dedicated towards their responsibilities.
हामी यो कम्युनिटी डगन कम्युनिटी हल यसमा हामी हरेक हप्ता हाम्रो सिनियर बाबुआमाहरू र हामी मेच्युर्ड एजका साथीभाइहरू भेला हुन्छौँ र यहाँ गेम खेल्छौँ र एकअर्काको दुःखको कुराहरू सेयरिङ गर्छौँ। हाम्रो जस भोलिन्टियर पार्ट सानो हामी योगा क्लास चलाउँछौँ र उनीहरूलाई यस चिजबाट फाइदा भइरहेछ। यस्तै छ यहाँनिर हरेक हप्ता कहिले स्पोर्ट गेमहरू हुन्छ, केरियम हुन्छ, यस्तै चलिरहेकै छ यहाँनिर र हामी एकअर्काको दुःख चाहिँ सेयर गरिरहेछौँ।
The main factor that is contributing to the poverty in our community is the language barrier and lack of Canadian work experiences and accessing online information.
They are struggling with high degree of unemployment or underemployment and compelled to rely on social assistance.
End Poverty Edmonton was really interested in using a design by doing approach to tackle poverty. We know that it's a creative problem-solving process, an opportunity to bring a group of people together in a room from different backgrounds to collaborate and really think through a problem.
First, we'd work with community to scope a challenge. We'd ask the community what is a challenge they're struggling with and need help with. Then we would use some of the design methodologies where we'd say the first stage is empathy. Let's try to understand what people are struggling with. Through hearing stories, through hanging out with people in context, through empathy mapping, different tools we use, we'd start to identify and define what are the challenges we need to solve for. Then we would start to create ideas together. We'd co-create what might help in the situation. And then that leads to prototypes. And prototypes are small scale, real rapid tests that we can take an idea and go test it in community. So that empathy, defining the problem, ideating, prototyping, testing, these are generally these iterative phases that we go through in the lab as we're co-creating solutions together.
We started the first half of the lab day going around to different tables that were hosted by various members of the Bhutanese community who told us about their history and the politics, their life in the Bhutan, and then going to Nepal and being in refugee camps there. Also told us about the values of their community, which really helped us ground our work in the particular cultural realities of that group, rather than just thinking very broadly when you come in. You're really thinking about people's lives may have been like, and having some understanding and having that connection with people.
There's a reason why we were brought together. I didn't know of the Bhutanese community, a little bit ignorant, if you will, but I didn't know of them until I came to the session. It's a bold step on their behalf to maybe go outside of their own comfort zone and try to sort help. It's not easy to ask for help as a whole community, for example. So I feel like it's a good thing on their side, and also it's a good process for people like myself and others who were involved to also learn about this issue, that when there's a problem or where there's a situation that needs a solution, it would take communication, conversation, and it would take people and ideas. I'm not a design thinker by any means. However, my experience in employment, my experience as an immigrant, my experience accessing the labor market is something that I can bring to the table or I can talk about.
Often we think of cultural diversity as this big numbers of ethnocultural groups who actually show up in our demographic profile. But we often overlook that there are actually smaller immigrant and refugee communities who are often left behind. Really, with this project, the city can develop I'd say what we call a thickened description of diversity. This wealth of knowledge can actually help to reorient our programs and services. It's really new ways of engaging people who are the hardest to reach, the most vulnerable, and actually the people with the least voice. And so working with the Bhutanese community actually unraveled to me a wealth of knowledge that we've never known.
Well, the design by doing process was new to me. It was so interesting. I was so much to learn that day. Something that really stood out was the people outside our community, so much concerned, so much interested. They were putting a lot of effort. They were like, I can saw the genuine concern that they wanted to do this, and then they wanted to make it happen for us. So there was something really that touched me. And then the other thing was the whole process itself, like how we can do the design, the prototype, even the empathy map, like how it was so related to me, to my community. Like it was the living the experience kind of thing again. It made me confident that I can still find a job. Another thing is it opened so many doors to the information opportunity. I did not know that there were so many employment agencies out there, so many resources that I get to know is one. And the thing is, it built my confidence. And then to speak for my community member, they were really positive that yes, even though our English is not so good, we will be able to get a job. So that's another thing that really made me happy.
मलाई त्यो क्षणमा सबसे राम्रो लागेको चाहिँ हाम्रो जुन त्यो पिक्चर डेमोन्स्ट्रेसन भएको थियो, हाम्रो कन्ट्रीको डेमोन्स्ट्रेसन भएको थियो, र अर्को चिज सबै नयाँ अनुहार देखिएको थियो त्यहाँनिर, र एकअर्कामा यो के हो भन्ने कुराहरूमा र यो कस्तो के चिज हो भन्ने कुरामा मलाई त्यो चिज चाहिँ साह्रै राम्रो लागेको थियो। मलाई लागेको चाहिँ जहाँसम्म छ एक यो हेल्थ बेनिफिट जो काम गरेको प्लेसबाट भइरहेको छ, उनीहरू त्यही जग्गाबाट आइरहेको छ, न उनीहरूको लागि चाहिँ यो कुरोमा बढी मान्छेहरू यो बेनिफिट भइदिए भए यो गर्ने थिए भन्ने कुराहरूमा चाहिँ हुन्छ उनीहरूलाई। र अर्को कुरो भनेकै वेदर हो, मान्छे वेदरको लागि एडजस्ट गर्न सकिरहेको छैन, यो चिजमा फ्रस्ट्रेसन छ। र यसमा त अब हामीले चेन्ज ल्याउन पनि त सकिँदैन, र पनि कसरी चाहिँ यो चिजलाई अगाडि बढाउने भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ यो प्रोसेसबाट केही होला कि हाम्रो मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ त्यो लागेको छ। केही प्रोसेस गर्दाखेरि केही चिज आउला रिजल्ट भन्ने कुरोमा चाहिँ म वेटिङमै छु, म पर्खिरहेको छु यो चिजहरूमा।
We have recently done housing research ourselves and food security research ourselves. We really know families could barely pay rent each month and leaving very little or nothing for food. And so poverty is an everyday hardship for the families and unfortunately a major source of stress. what I most fear is this reality is not known to many people. And that's why this project is key. It's not only to build missing relationship between small, forgotten community. It's actually about building relationship so we could make visible a truth that's not known and that we do something about it. And I think our tweaking the design by doing process is actually bringing us together from diverse segment of systems to be in the same room, spending time with very talented, resilient Bhutanese community members whom many are not aware of.